we are ready to review Season 1, Episode 2, X-Men 97. Mutant Liberation begins.
So that kind of a callback to what Magneto always wanted.
Yeah.
Liberation always, he's kind of going to be the center of this episode. Clearly, after the last episode, he took over the X-Men.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not, Charles willed it into his will.
Yeah.
And it's what's going on. So yeah, we open up in Coney Island, right?
Yep. I gotta say though, I do love this redone new intro that we got because
Yeah.
it is,
Right. It is a little different
because it is a little different. Like the whole intro
Right,
and stuff,
it's so sick.
like the song and everything is just awesome for it. So I always just
I couldn't skip over that. Yeah, so they add Magneto.
Yeah.
New look to this roster, and it's just like, it's so sick.
It's got that M on it
and then dark, stuff, dark like black and gray getup he's got.
But so we start out at Coney Island, and we got a Ferris wheel, and of course there is an issue with the Ferris wheel. It starts to one of the cars start to fall off it. One patron's cassette player. Gotta call it out, cassette player.
Yeah, so great. And I forget what it was called, but it was kind of funny. But it was it's very in line with I think it was Sony was a big, but they wouldn't clearly use Sony.
Oh, Walkman.
But it was a Sony, but it was something else. It was called something else because Disney. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was just the car of the Ferris wheel's beginning to fall, and that's when Magneto kind of comes in and is shows you that he's being a hero, right?
Yeah,
he's. But I mean, clearly, not that he wouldn't have saved maybe someone doing this if he was just walking down the street, but he wouldn't have gone on his way before, for sure.
Yeah, and definitely not for anyone unconfirmed mutant. He would definitely do it for any mutant that he would knew or whatever.
In hopes that they'd join his,
and hope that they would join his little brotherhood. But
I love the name of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah.
Nobody evil thinks they're evil. That's just awesome, though.
So
the fact, maybe though, some do, right? But yeah.
But we're there. He saves them. We get a cut back to Scott, and he's still complaining about Magneto taking over. Did the professor not trust me?
Yeah.
And then Jean's well, maybe he did it for us, knowing that we were gonna have a kid and leave and everything.
Which is clearly Scott's not as down as he was.
Yeah, now that Magneto's here,
he just doesn't trust what's going on, and he's
right.
Maybe they're gonna need my help after all. And it's again, you're not that important. You are important as a character, don't get me wrong, but it's just you can leave and have your own life, and the X-Men will continue, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, eventually everybody dies and stuff, and you do have to more realize what is the end goal, and is Magneto going to help us get to that end goal? And he might.
He might, maybe.
Or
yeah, right. But I mean. We get it. There's a bunch of things against Magneto why they don't want to do this. The failed mutant takeover after Charles's assassination to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's all of that, but then we also get another cut back to the freedom.
The Friends of Humanity.
Yeah, Friends of Humanity people. They're making a new gun. They're kicking out humans.
Yeah, literally.
And they're calling humans kicking out storms of tribes of warlocks. And
warlocks again are from the original series. Warlocks are mutants that don't look human.
Right.
So they're the gang of sewer mutants, basically.
But from the original series, Storm is, that's why I said that's why I said they're her tribe, because she beat the leader that you see with the eye patch in single combat and one one leadership, but then left her, the eye patch lady, the control while she's not there. It's her second in command or whatever.
Yeah. So again, mutants are discriminated against. These mutants are discriminated against even more, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
they've been living in the sewers, like in the subway lines and stuff, like.
And they're not necessarily the best looking creatures, you know.
Yeah, one literally kind of looks like Yoshi or a lizard guy, like however you want to describe it.
Yeah. So.
But the warlocks then are saved by Magneto.
Oh yeah,
it's another.
Because again, he shows his love for mutants, and earlier he showed he cares about. He's at least trying to care about humanity again.
Right. He's trying to care.
Which is understandable. If anyone could lose trust in humanity, Magneto could lose. But he is definitely trying to gain some faith back in humanity, at least seemingly. And so yeah, we Leech, right? You did say
Leech. That's the lizard guy.
Yeah. That's the little Yoshi looking guy, but he's cool.
I love Leech. Yeah, he's great in that original series and stuff. Like to be fair, none of these warlocks really talk, other than
no, it's a quick scene, but it is reminding you that the warlocks are there, right?
Yeah, are still there.
It's kind of giving you an off, like it's not important right now, but these people are still.
Yeah, they're still around. They might be coming back later.
Right.
And then we get cut to Beast, like kind of talking with like Scott and stuff, and being like, like the only safe way to destroy your enemy is make them your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark Twain, as Beast always does.
Which I looked up. I don't think it's actually Mark Twain, but whatever. It's one of those quotes that like it's kind of attributed to Mark Twain, so it's fine. But it shows you that like even writers for big shows will get like little history facts like that wrong because the internet sucks nowadays. It's
go to the library.
It's all AI crap. Anyway.
And so we get the Mark Twain like thing. I personally don't think Beast is like that wrong.
No, exactly.
In saying that.
And maybe in their universe, Mark Twain absolutely said it, right?
Right, and
there's literally only one like I found like a little.
They also turn to Bishop though, and they're like, all right, in all of the futures you've seen here, big guy, like.
Have you ever seen Magneto
leading the X-Men?
Yeah.
And
he's like, no, but also I haven't, seen a lot of what's going on right now. Like, I haven't seen,
I haven't heard of a lot of this that's like been happening and stuff.
Yeah, so, he's like, basically, this is a cool point because he's like, time. You're thinking of time wrong. Time's malleable, right? Like time is something that it flows through everything. It changes the past and it changes the future to fit its needs. We're not. We're just a little part of it. Like, time's doing its own thing. Yeah. And it's a really cool way to just be like, don't worry about the little details, you know what I mean? Like, there's timey-wimey stuff going on.
Yeah, there's some timey-wimey stuff, especially Bishop, who is a time traveler.
Yeah,
so
very timey-wimey.
Yeah, it's already timey-wimey.
And he's basically trying to get Bishop, we learn, trying to get back to his timeline.
Yeah, so they can, like, continue, because at this point, they need to see if they averted the assassination of Kelly in like the original series that was supposed to bring on the Days of Future Past and whatnot, and like that.
Yeah, did this fix the timeline?
Did this fix it now when he goes back there? And when they fix his little like timepiece and stuff.
And clearly, Jean's pregnant with Nathan, right? So like we already like it's kind of like the snake eating its tail, right?
Yeah.
It's
but we do get Magneto coming back, and they're like, "Where are the warlocks and stuff?" And he's like, "I sent them to Genosha." I don't know why Charles, with his vast wealth, didn't start sending more people like there when he helped.
We have this sweet I created this sweet island to like.
Yeah, with all of these
mutants, and like at least we could use it to protect the most discriminated against of us.
Right.
And he kind of does throw some shade at Charles right there.
Yeah, and he's like, I also left the jerks in the sewer alive, like they were unharmed and everything, like no need to worry about them. And he's like, this is proof, hopefully for you, that I am trying Charles's way of coexistence.
Exactly.
He's
definitely it's hard to imagine for a lot of them.
And then Cyclops is like, well, no, because we will make sure that like we don't trust you, and we're going to make sure that you're always toeing the line and stuff. And Magneto's clapback is pretty great of being like, I was under the impression you two were like getting out of here.
Hitting the bricks, I thought you were dipping, and it's kind of great, which again throws Scott into a loop, and also he's going through all the X-Men here, and he really gives credence to like respect to Storm, in a way that like
he's like
is a little almost like foreboding, right? The way he says,
because he's like, Storm, you're the closest thing to a goddess we may ever see. I do not lightly deny, but demand your trust.
Yeah, exactly.
That Xavier wanted this. And, like, it is... Because, like, he knows that despite all of his magnetism...
Storm could rip
Storm will fry him.
Magnetism's in the, part of the weather patterns. And she would screw him up. Again, it's showing this, like, OP-ness of, and, like, if people are... seeing
that's Magneto's like
I'm scared of you.
Game respect. Game recognize game. Like,
so when he was going through everyone else, it was kind of like tongue in cheek. But when he got to her, it was very reverent, but also
totally different.
In a way that coming from Magneto was a compliment, but it didn't seem like one. It almost seemed like a threat. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, it's because of Magneto and who he has been for the...
He doesn't necessarily... I'm like Scott at this point. Like, all right, I'm going to let you in. I like this. This dynamic's fun.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know if I trust you yet.
No.
So...
And then, like, he's also talking with... like, Cyclops is also, like, confiding in, like, Jean a little bit more, being like, you know, like, maybe he was wrong. Maybe he made a mistake. And then Magneto's also, he kind of says it to the room. Maybe he makes a mistake, and Magneto turns as he's walking away to Scotty. And it's like, see, you realize the one thing that I realized about Charles years ago. He can make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's so good because it's just, again, he's so good at just like even making the audience wonder. You know what I mean? He's so good at just being a snide, you know, in his comments.
I love the Jean and Storm conversation that we get here.
Yeah, this is a cool moment. Because Jean's kind of just like having that moment right before pregnancy where like things are kind of setting in as reality, and she's like, oh shoot, like I kind of wish he wouldn't be born a mutant, because that would be sweet, because I know what I've been through, right? And like Storm, out of anyone, definitely understands that, and she's like very, very understanding, and compared to later someone else, but she's very understanding of like that worry of just like, because I mean your baby's life's in danger then, because its parents are too powerful, known out and about mutants, and you know things could happen.
And like, how do you like tell him he's different?
Yeah, all the stuff that comes along with being a little different.
And then we also get, we get them calling each other like family, sisters, and stuff. Which is
reminding
really nice.
You that the X-Men is a family unit.
Absolutely. And then we get like one of Jean's final things. She's like, you know, ever since like going into Gyric's mind and stuff, like I just have this terrible sense of something like bad is coming,
something bigger,
and then like Storm just puts her hand on Jean's like stomach, and she's like, no, you're just sounding like a mother.
Yeah, exactly.
And like it's really
you're
sweet.
Starting to worry about things you didn't have to worry about before, but also we saw what Jean saw, and that would have scared anyone into thinking something bad's coming. So yeah, it's understandable.
Absolutely. We're in Magneto's office now with Rogue, and she says like, your pep talk went over about as well as a dozen cats in a yarn store. Which is
fun because like they kind of always had this like weird like fun and tongue in cheek relationship, but it was never like explored really in the first show. But yeah, this scene is just weird, although when it turns into, because it does seem like they're a little flirty.
Yeah. They absolutely...
Or like, they have some familiarity, maybe not flirting, but there is like a, what did they know each other better than we thought they knew each other?
Yeah, right. There's definitely something about it. Like, and they have this very intimate conversation about Charles too. About like, you know, he thought about Magneto's helmet in particular.
Oh yeah, like, which is an interesting thing because that was not canon in the original series, and it was not canon in comic books. The place that the thing with his helmet came into continuity was the movies, and they just re-entered it in continuity because I do think that's a cool element. I do think that that's fine to add that element because why else would he be wearing a helmet first of all? And like I know like anyone needs to wear a helmet, but it's like that adds to the costume being
but
realistic.
Like because otherwise like he just would use his magnetism as a helmet that he does.
And it's also why he's not wearing a helmet right now.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't necessarily need to be wearing one. Even with Jean around, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same because he doesn't have the same relationship with Jean that he did with like you know Charles and everything like that.
He knows that she's not gonna. Yeah. She's not like gonna try to do anything to him right now, at least.
Right. But like,
so we get to see his long, luscious locks.
But like Rogue even like says like you know like you probably wore it more so because if he felt that like you still like trusted him or like loved him at all. If there was any in for him, if there was any in for him that like you would never like the separation would never be able to happen. Yeah. And like Magneto doesn't deny it.
Yeah, he knows that subconsciously that's probably what was a little part of it. Yeah, definitely.
He felt that he was like protecting himself, but deep down like that
he's pushing away feelings instead of dealing with them, and that ends up, you know, kind of screwing you over in the long run.
Absolutely. Then we also get so now the UN is here for Magneto, and I love this. Like you know, like the UN person Cooper, Dr. Cooper is like. You know, like, you better not try anything. Our weapons are made of plastic and stuff to be resilient. And you just see Magneto kind of go like this, and then in the animation because they put like the yellow like coloring around it, letting you know that Magneto's controlling everything. All of those helicopters.
Yep.
That they just showed up on.
Did you forget about something?
Yeah, are definitely not, and but. Magneto, while controlling all the helicopters, getting ready to bring them in on the UN, says, if I am able to vindicate myself in a fair trial, will you trust me?
I love that.
And like, she's like, well, yeah, that's usually how courts of law work.
Yeah, exactly. Especially a UN person. She's more of a diplomat than like an army representative.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's definitely trying to find like that diplomatic way.
Solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we get the trial of Magneto.
It's hilarious how he does that. He just takes the people above, like he takes them like floating above.
Oh yeah, after like once we get we get the trial of Magneto and they're all going back and forth.
Oh, that too,
yeah. They're all going back and forth like on like Magneto, you did this, this, and this, and he's like. Yeah, but you also did this, this, and this to like our human.
He's very you like,
humans did this to me, our mutants and stuff.
It's like China and America. Like they're always like, you did this, and it's like you did that though, and it's like yeah, but you did this, and it's like I learned that from you though. It's very much like no one's kind of in the right 100%, so maybe be a little forgiving, considering I'm trying here.
And like he's like, you know, we were just born this way. We weren't born like, you know, as abominations or anything like that. This is just how we came to be. We, you know, like just how people believe differently, love differently, you know, being different sex or skin. Like people are being punished. Like we're just different, you know. And then it's great. And he's like, you know, the oppressed become the oppressor
100% of the time,
and Charles knew this, and he wanted to change and find harmony, and
I'm trying here. Like, I am really like, I want the same goals there at least, but like, there's the humanity side of it again. He's convincing them and himself, I think, that he's trying to get better.
And then like we get the stupid UN people being like. So he's like, so like this is trying to heal, and like they're like, well, those are nice words, but there's nothing for those that you like hurt. And he's like, your soundbite indignation,
yeah, it's so good.
Is not going to heal the mutant wounds
it's
either.
So good. It's exactly what like needs to cut through a politician.
You built robots to hunt us, collars to chain our powers, and then they're like, humanity must protect itself.
Yeah.
Protection is extermination is not the same thing.
Yeah, any person that's about to face death will do anything to get out of it, right? Or just facing any kind of oppression is going to eventually fight for their freedom. So he's trying to he's a revolutionary. He's more, him and Charles were revolutionaries in their own right, and their ideas to the humans are very crazy seeming. Yeah. They're a little out there.
Well, because
especially the ones that are scared of mutants basically being the only things that exist, and there's no humans left.
Right, like
there's a fear that the friends of humanity and stuff have.
He's like, and Magneto's like, did you really not expect us to like avenge the like crimes against like my people the same way that you people right now are trying to avenge like those of yours today? Like, you know, let's come to a fact that both sides are dirty, but like I am willing to put my I'm trying here. I'm trying here. I'm willing to put forth a new path. And like somebody said, and then another like one of the panelists are like, so you're saying today, in the face of extermination, you would walk the path of Charles Xavier? And he's like, yes, I would.
And you can't lie.
Yeah, right.
In a court of law.
But then this is like where like the episode kind of like
takes its January 6th turn.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely takes its January 6th turn, because this is a UN hearing, and all of these protesters, the Friends of Humanity and stuff, are starting to like break their way in, and it's insane. Chaos is coming. Yeah. They've got all of their walkie-talkies going and whatnot. Cyclops, Beast, and Bishop go to aid the people at the gates. Storm is staying there to protect Magneto and the rest of the judges. Wolverine has stayed back with Jean just to, hang out there and everything.
Make sure she's alright, yeah.
And, Wolverine starts grabbing his coat and stuff, and he's like, Jeannie, we gotta go!
Yeah.
We gotta get to the Capitol. And then Jean starts going into labor.
Mm-hmm. Good timing, for sure.
Yeah. And Wolverine's eyes just almost explode out of his face.
He's been through a lot. He's seen a lot of violence, but I don't think he's seen a woman giving birth.
But he's like, "Is Apocalypse here?" And she's like, "No, the baby's coming." And oh man, and she still is able to mind shoot his keys over to him as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we just see Wolverine driving like a madman on the streets and on the sidewalk and stuff, getting there.
The Wolverine freaking out is always my favorite.
The Berserker, I love it.
He's just I don't know. He's got a regular person anxiety.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so awesome. So then we cut back to the Magneto trial.
Right.
And the protesters are clearly in. Rogue and Rogue meets up with Bishop and Cyclops and stuff. Cyclops is like, Rogue, just go outside and just take care of whatever you can. Then we get the Executioner coming in and all of that. We see a little bit of him pulling up in in his crazy little kidnapper van thing that he shows up
Executioner's in. A super anti-mutant villain.
He's the same.
Built a suit.
He's the same friend of humanity that we've seen basically in the last two episodes and everything.
Yep. He's tired of getting his butt kicked.
Yeah.
And he's come in the suit of armor basically.
Yep.
To just make these freaks pay.
And basically he takes out Beast and Gambit. He puts a collar on Bishop and then shoots him with his Sentinel energy gun, and it's absorb this. I gotta say that was a cool one. That was
because we have been seeing Bishop use his power so much, and it's okay. Not every time it's gonna work.
It was also neat to see that the bad guys actually learned that, the Bishop's like absorption.
From each fight they had with them,
because like usually in animated shows and stuff like this, like the bad guys kind of never learn or adapt, and then it just kind of becomes the same repeat thing. So it was neat, despite seeing the X-Men get their butts handed to them by Executioner here. It was still really sweet to like see that evolution of these guys.
Stupid as the Friends of Humanity seem and what they believe in, and just like their overall like how they're act and stuff. Yeah, they seem well funded.
Yeah,
they seem like propped up, right? So like, and we definitely have proof of that, but we just don't know who's doing what yet. So yeah, it's just a very interesting counterpoint to just what happens in real life too. When things are funded well, doesn't matter how stupid the thing is that they believe in. If they pay enough money, they can get that idea into the mainstream. So that's kind of what is going on here.
Yeah. We get Executioner knocking Scott's glasses off, and we get an awesome blowing up of like part of the wall and like the building of like the I don't know, Senate building basically they're the UN building that they're in, which is always great. I always love a great shot of Scott Cyclops doing that, whether it be like losing control because like somebody knocked his glasses off and like he just didn't close his eyes in time with it or whatever it is, or if it's him like shooting somebody or like using his blast like somebody flying and like kind of missing and stuff like.
And in the first episode, we saw that like even when he opened his eyes, he had a little more control over it than like past, right? Like he seems to have like be able to at least focus the energy more.
Yeah, and kind of.
But it still is wild. It just comes out of his eyes, so he needs the protection still. Like
So that's just like wild. We also get Morph and Rogue then finally come in from like the taking care of like everybody outside and settling all of that down. Jean is calling to Scott being like, yo, baby's here. Baby's on its way. Me and Logan are
I know you're dealing with this huge problem right now, but you're having your
So
wife's pregnant.
Storm takes control. Rogue takes Scott to Jean. Storm orders like more assistance and stuff. Like she's like, uncollar Magneto. Like get this stuff off of him.
We first of all, we need him right now.
And like the UN people are like, no, he's gonna start doing stuff, and she is like, you heed my command.
Yeah, she is. So
if you want to survive, and you will.
Yeah, she speaks like a character out of the Bible or something. You know what I mean? She doesn't speak like a regular person. It's awesome.
She's so great. It's I love it so much. Rogue is awesome. Storm is awesome, and so yeah, she totally takes control. We get a cut back to the hospital. The doctor there won't deliver the baby because mutants can't control their power, and this is such a high emotional.
Who the hell has been doing the? Who's been watching her pregnancy since then?
I mean, Beast, maybe?
Because, I guess, but that's a good point, because then he would be off fighting right now and he couldn't deliver the baby, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's a good answer. So yeah, we just, a little more discrimination to go along with, you know.
Yeah, right? I mean, so like, the only person, I would assume Beast would be able to do like basic things. He's smart. I mean, he's the smart guy, so like that's where.
Because I mean, it's a baby. It's the same thing. A mutant baby's not. It's gonna be delivered the same way.
Well,
so it's just basically him. Just
even more so, like both Jean and Scott, are mutants, but they're not like Beast.
Right.
Or they're not like Beast or Mystique, who are, or like Nightcrawler, who are like non-human almost. Like they really are like a complete different kind of change and stuff.
So that might scare a doctor away, but I think it's just a way of them using flowery language to be like, no, I don't like mutants.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so mutants can lose control, and then but Scott's like, hey, can you just Rogue? Can you just suck his medical knowledge and deliver this baby?
Yeah, right.
And she's like,
what? Do you know how my powers work?
She's like, but if I touch the baby, like that could be bad too. Yeah. And they're like, Jean's like, don't worry, I trust you. It'll be fine.
She's like, do you know how my powers work?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm the right one here. The protesters get into the chambers. Magneto has started taking all the metal from like inside the room and the chambers and stuff, and making into a bunch of different kind of
weapons,
swords, basically,
yeah.
And throws them into the ground and starts like trapping these people here. Storm electrocutes them, basically, and starts making them into like an electrified like prison, basically.
Right.
Like inside an electrical fence. It's crazy.
Yeah, which is like those two together could probably take over the world and like no issue.
Yeah.
So like it kind of probably
like,
this is probably scaring them more than, even though they're fighting against the people who are storming the Capitol. A lot of humans are probably going to be like, whoa,
yeah,
from that, yeah.
And so they make that electrical prison. Executioner gets in, and man, he lines up Magneto and his little sniper, takes a shot. Storm dives in there, doing the hero thing, and protects Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
And
she gets hit with this, and it's like, so?
But she's falling, and like it hurt. Wait a second. Like it hurt her, and she's crawling, and like she falls off the like stage, like the little podium thing that they were on there, and she's just lying there. And at one point, she like reaches out, and then she's like, "I can't feel the
electricity in the air. Like
I can't feel the winds. I can't feel like anything." Like her connection to nature is all gone. It seems that the Executioner took away Storm's
whatever he shot her with is seemingly a anti-mutant bullet, a syringe or whatever.
Yeah, is an anti like a demuted or like a demutagen like kind of power or whatever.
Yeah. And
so but the Executioner ends up getting taken in. Magneto is so mad, and Cooper is like, whoa, this is not what we meant to happen in any way, shape, or form. And Magneto just basically is like giving her the middle finger, like, there's no way you can tell me that this wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's not part of the plan, it's part of the overall plan. You know, it might not be part of your plan, but it's a part of the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so he's like, I'm done with that.
And he's like, this is your dream of like taking everything away from mutants, from somebody who was really great, like Storm, who is like an amazing like X-Men and just kind of person.
Yeah, right. She's kind of the most undeserving of losing all her powers, but also we've been talking about how OP she is in a mega level and all this stuff from the beginning. So, like I said, the humans would be scared of them two getting together. So they were trying to take Magneto's powers, but I'm sure they're not sad about taking Storm's, you know?
Right. And then this is where you were getting at. They take everybody out.
Yeah, I love this part.
Talk about it.
Yeah, so he just like kind of takes the people who were judging him above.
Cooper, the judges.
He floats them above.
Executioner.
Yeah. He floats them above and has his like real trial, basically.
Yeah. And it is so great. Like, you know, you've got like, you see like tears running down Magneto's face as he's talking about it. He's like, you know,
he's trying so hard not to just kill them.
Over like his foot over the Executioner's face.
Yeah.
And he's like, bigot, ingrate, psychopath. And like, worm. So small I could sycophant.
Such a good word.
So small I could smite you with the step of my foot. And he's like, there is a time where you would be dead already for what you had done.
He's showing more restraint than ever in this episode.
And he's like, you know, we get we start getting an intercut between Magneto talking about like, today I saved you from your own people. For an old friend challenged me to remember this view of Earth. Looking at the bigger picture. So
he's showing them above the earth, like of what
he's seeing and everything,
and also reminding them that at any second he could just drop them. But
he's not. They are.
But he's not. He's not, and because he is trying, and he's trying to let them know he's trying, but they just wouldn't hear him.
Yeah.
And now they're hearing him.
And now, because now they are making him go to
they've been forced to see what the humans just did to the to the process, and then now they're seeing what he could do to them. but he doesn't want to, and he is trying to change according to him.
Yeah, according to himself. Like, we get a cut of
You
Gene
gotta believe what he's
pushing.
saying.
We get another thing of him being like, Charles entrusted me with his dream. I do not ask that you love or embrace my kind, but that you just kind of accept our kind.
Which acceptance is important.
Yeah.
It does mean like, okay, I don't like you, but you exist, so I'm just going to try to exist alongside you.
And that we have this shared world.
It's a mutual respect thing more
Right.
than anything else. Like we don't have to like each other to get along in everyday life,
Yeah. And he's like, your kind, like mine, have a right to live here. And we get this intercut with like also Rogue being the doctor. And like it's very awesome seeing all this stuff intercut with what Magneto is talking about, with a new life being brought in here, and like this new idea, this new age, this new day,
and knowing who the mutant is being born is a new and future, and what is the future going to be? It's very good.
And
very
he's
well
like,
done.
your kind, just like mine, have a right to be in this, to live in it. And I am trying to do better. So please do not make me let you down.
Yeah.
And
Which is a very,
oh my God, he still has them up over the earth.
But and just make me
me
let you down.
Yeah,
because that don't make me let you down. It's such a good. It's such a good saying because it shows like I have the power totally, and y'all. Better just like chill out because I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for much.
Then we get a cut back to the hospital. We get Nathan's born. We get
they finally
they name him Nathan, who we all know will be Cable in the future and everything.
Or will he? But we do know.
But it's Nathan Charles Summers.
But yeah.
And so in the end, we get then we move away from the hospital. We get the UN deciding to pardon Magneto. They're also bringing the mutant nation of Genosha to talks about joining the UN, which is a big thing.
It's basically accepting them as an actual country or whatever.
Yeah,
like
as a real country, a real nation.
So they could have their own rights and they could have their own,
and they can really become a part of the world and really integrate to the world around them.
Right.
Scott brings Magneto a cup of coffee, and Magneto just is like, poison?
Yeah.
Dark roast. I really love that exchange.
Yeah, because of course I would think poison's in there too. But Magneto was clearly being tongue in cheek too. He wasn't even. He didn't really think Scott put poison in there. But it was just fun back and forth between the two, where it's just like the bridge is built.
That ice wall.
Yeah.
That divides the North and the wildlings is starting to melt between these two, which is really nice.
Not necessarily a dragon fire coming by, but it's starting to melt on its own. The sun's hitting a little more than usual.
And then they also have the conversation. I thought you and Jean are leaving now, and he's like, you actually trust me now to carry on Xavier's dream, and Scott just simply goes, he trusts you, and so I trust you. Yeah, and
I trust Charles. So if he trusts you, I trust it.
But to be fair, Magneto here, because he's always cared about mutants and stuff and his own kind, he does leave Scott with some advice of being like, be wary, be vigilant. Tragedy looms when fortune is first here with us.
Exactly.
And this has been a good week for our people, but not without cost. And he's like,
there's a tit for tat always. Yeah,
he's talking about Storm, and that's where we get the cut to Beast running his labs on Storm and announcing that he can't find the mutant gene in there anymore. It might be permanent. Don't know how long. It definitely requires additional tests. But Storm is like, it's gone.
Yeah, whatever.
It's gone.
No tests are gonna bring it back, and I can feel it.
And she is scared by a storm outside too, which is really interesting to see. And she leaves a note for Jean, like, you know, because again, that sisterly bond that they have between each other of what they do and everything, it makes sense that she would tell Jean that she's leaving and when she's leaving and like how she's leaving and everything. You know, she talks about human nature, craving connection, same as mutant, you know, mutant nature. They're also craving connection. This is where we get Rogue, because like Jean kind of reading this note, Storm leaving, and then we get a couple of other like mixed cut-in shots here at the end. We get Rogue going to Magneto, and she takes off her glove, and Magneto is able to touch Rogue.
And Gambit.
And, you know, Morph goes to Logan sitting in a tree who's just like... and, you know, Morph's
Logan.
like, I got beer and food. Changes into Sabretooth, and then they start going at it and start fighting. Gambit, standing outside of like the quarter, sees Rogue leaving Magneto's office, and like
through the door he saw them touch hands too.
And it's a lingering shot there.
He's just like, wait. I thought we were dating.
Yeah, I thought we were dating here. Yeah, man, it's crazy because like
yeah, exactly.
I always thought that it was interesting because like where's Mystique in all of this? Because Mystique now is was Mystique really Gambit now, and was she pretending to be a part of the X-Men to infiltrate with Magneto? That's like some crazy like big theory that I have or whatever. Because we haven't seen Mystique, and I don't know where she's at, and I want to see where.
And
she's
she did pretend to be Gambit in the past.
Yeah.
So like that was
and that was like the assassination of like Kelly in the first X-Men series. It was supposed to be Gambit who was that, and whatnot. But like now that we see that lingering shot of Gambit, like does he now go rogue? Like not like with Rogue, but like Rogue against the X-Men.
No, I don't know about that. I just think he's definitely gonna maybe want to leave too.
Yeah.
What's keeping him here now?
Yeah,
like
right.
Rogue was like probably his reason to stay.
Absolutely.
He was always kind of a gray area guy. Like the X-Men pulled him in because, you know, Rogue was his girl, and now that it seems like she's not necessarily seeing it the same way, maybe, and she's able to touch Magneto. And in the original series, she said that we could be together if we could touch, and that wasn't possible. So. She did previously mention that was a thing, and now it looks like she can touch Magneto. So is that her only bar?
Yeah. Right. Well, that's her greatest desire. That's her greatest desire is to be able to touch somebody.
So desire might be a part of this, and Gambit might still have a chance. You know.
Absolutely.
Especially now that we learned that the X gene can go away. Maybe
Storm is able to
someone might be willing to lose.
Storm is able to, and and then that's something that they even explored in the X-Men movies with Rogue, like, you know, Anna Paquin's character. She gets on the bus, tries to like go near where like the mutant cure is being given out and all that.
Yeah, she wants it at first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see maybe even Gambit taking it to prove that he's doing it, even though Rogue would probably be the one everyone would think would do it. Yeah, Gambit might do it, but maybe not. Maybe it's something else.
Right.
But yeah, it's a very interesting little thing they added into it at the end there. It was like, wait, what? What's this all about?
Right. And so like that was all very interesting that we got. Storm gets on her bus, still talking about like, you know, no longer feeling connected, walking in two different worlds. She did always cherish her time with the X-Men, but that almost feels like a lifetime ago already. Now we get Jean reading the letter to the rest of the X-Men. She's like, you know, like any other woman or any other person, you know, dream. Yeah, she wants to like love the world.
Yeah,
and
that's when you hear someone at the door. Morph goes to get it, and in comes a stumbling redhead.
In comes the stumbling redhead of Jean Grey. Yeah. She's looking for Scott
and the X-Men.
Yeah, and this also led me to believe, like, oh my god. this led me to believe of like another Mystique thing. Like, oh my gosh, is this Mystique here now?
Yeah.
Showing up.
And if toys didn't ruin it for me, I would have thought the same thing. But toys ruined it for me. The release of certain toys were like, wait, okay, screw you guys.
So, and with that, that's basically the end of the episode because we see a stumbling Jean Grey come into basically Morph's arms, and like then we get a cut. And
the other Jean looking at it like,
it's like, what is going on here? And so with
over.
that, I am Jimmy with the Triple C Collective.
And I'm Collin.
And we want to thank you all for joining us. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And this is the end of our commentary track.